So unfortunately,
Insane.
we did lose most of the food that we had was
Hmm.
refrigerator, freezer products. We had a couple of dry goods, but not a whole hell of a lot. To be honest, weren't expecting power to be out for more than just a couple of days.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
if
And
that.
water. And water. You didn't expect the water to go out.
We were not expecting every single water line to be washed away with this storm. They've had
It was
to.
insane.
So I mean, it is what 2.5 weeks out. We still don't have running
Still don't
water
have
and
running water.
sewage. Um, so it was a okay. How the hell are we going to do this? So I think it was day 4 or 5. We started to get creek water. There's a creek down the road, so let's just go get that so we can at least flush the toilets. Drinking water, we still had a little bit, but not a whole hell of a lot. So that
Well,
was kind of like the first thing was, okay, how long is it gonna be out for? Once again, still waiting on some sort of communication. We're all sitting here being very hopeful that everything's gonna come back, later today or tomorrow. And it just wasn't happening. And we weren't sure what the hell was going on.
so um I was watching the news. I was on Facebook constantly. I joined the um Black Mountain Facebook page, the Asheville Facebook page. Um so all day Sunday, I was just reading, okay, they're not going to have water for a long time. And when I say a long time, it was going to be a couple of weeks. They were even saying a month Yeah. before you guys got water. And then Amanda had messaged and said that you guys' supplies were getting low. And I knew you guys were going to need water. And then, of course, now there's 12 of you guys.
Mhm.
It's 12. Four are under the age of 14. There's Aubriana, there, and then Paige's three kids, which one was 8 months old.
Yes.
So I knew that you guys, they had to have been getting low on diapers and wipes and baby food and baby formula and food for all you guys. And so I was like, okay, I know I've been there. I know where Marcus lives. I know it's on top of a hill, very wide open space. I wonder if I can somehow go into Jane mode and get you guys an airdrop, because that's what I kept seeing online is people were doing airdrops. These private companies were coming in with helicopters and doing airdrops. I was like, well, here I am in New Hampshire. Let's see what I can do down in North Carolina. So on Monday, well, Sunday night is when I really started seeing all the information. And then on Monday, me and Jessica went into Jane mode. And I bet I contacted 12 organizations that I knew were there. Whether it was through emails or I sent them emails, I sent them messages, I tried calling. I couldn't physically get in contact with anybody, um, but I left messages, lots and lots and lots of messages. I went on different Facebook pages, um, just getting the word out. This family of 12, they're up on this mountain. They need supplies. There's four of them under the age of 14. I need some help. Please, can somebody give me any information on who to contact? And so this was like 12, 14 hours straight of being online, trying to contact somebody. And then, what was it? On Tuesday, I all of a sudden my phone rang. It was Tuesday morning. My phone rang and it was North Carolina Operation Airdrop. And she's like, "We are planning to do an airdrop. I can't tell you when, but I need more specifics on what they need." I said, "Oh my God, all I know is like water, non-perishable foods. Um, I talked about what Bo may need, the diapers and baby formula and baby food, and that's when I was able to have a little bit of contact with Amanda again, and it's like, "You need to give me information on what Bo needs,"
Yep.
is, um and then, like, I don't know, it must have been an hour later, all of a sudden this guy calls me and he's like and I was also able to back it up. Amanda was able to get me the um longitude and
Latitude. Yep.
Yep. The latitude
latitude.
and longitude of the
Yep.
possible landing site.
Yep.
Yep.
And that lady also told me to have you guys somehow mark the area
Mm-hmm.
with an SOS or a X or something. And so you guys were able to do that.
Yeah, Mike did that.
And yep. So I was able to give her all this information, the address, the coordinates, and told them that it was marked and everything. So then this guy calls me and he's like, I'm with the North Carolina Operation Airdrop. I'm going to be doing the airdrop in 15 minutes. I was like, oh my God, I got to try and contact them. I got to make sure they're up on the hill. They know this is going on. And he's like, well, I need somebody's phone information in case we can't do the drop. I can arrange for them to come pick it up somewhere. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want that. Because I knew you guys' cars were getting low on gas too.
Mhm.
So that was a concern of mine. So I'm like thinking about all this stuff. So I gave them Amanda's number. And oh, and I also said, oh, don't forget dog food. I was like,
My baby thanks
can't
you.
forget about Jax. Don't forget the dog food. He's like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, I'll grab the dog food. So he was so nice. He was so nice.
Oh my
So
goodness.
so I gave him Amanda's info and he said he was going to do the drop in about 15 minutes. So I'm like, okay. Me and Jessica are sitting there. I'm contacting I was able to contact Desi and Marcus for like a brief second and tell them what was going on. And so I'm sitting there and we're sitting in my living room and I'm just like, okay, Jess, we need to pray. Pray to God. They need these supplies so bad. And I knew how bad you guys needed the supplies. I knew you guys were getting low. And I'm like, just we got to sit here and pray. Please, God, these people have been through enough. Please do this airdrop. That's all I'm asking. Please do the airdrop. I'm not asking for much. And it was like 15 minutes goes by and I hear nothing. And then 20 minutes goes by and we still don't hear anything. And a half hour went by and all of a sudden Amanda messages me and says, we just got the airdrop. And we went hysterical. Oh my God, we jumped up and down and we were cheering and we were so happy. It was like I wanted to do something so bad for you guys to help you guys because I felt so freaking helpless up here. And I knew what you guys were going through. I knew that you guys were in the middle of you were in ground zero in the middle of this most horrific, devastating freaking aftermath of a storm. And me and Jess were just like, I needed to do something for you guys. Because I knew how hard it was for you guys down there. And so we were just so happy that you guys got the airdrop. It was like, but then I was like, holy shit, I did that. I did that from New Hampshire. I was like, that was like the reality of it. It's like, holy shit, I did that from New Hampshire.
I've told people about it and told people about the story, and they're just shocked and astonished. And they're like, how on earth did she do that? And I was like, you don't know Jane. And you know how much she loves us. Jane literally moved mountains to make sure that we were okay. And so in that agonizing 30 minutes that you were waiting to hear from us, Jane, the second that Desi and Marcus heard communication from you, like, oh, the airdrop's coming in 15 minutes, we all shot up to the top of the hill and we're like, oh my God, seriously. And I got this text message from Mitchell, the co-pilot. He said, hello, Amanda. My name is Mitchell. I'm a pilot with Operation Airdrop. Understand you all are in need of diapers, water, food, baby food, and dog food. And I was like, is this a scam? Like, what? It was crazy. I couldn't believe I was getting a text message from the co-pilot. And then so we chatted back and forth. I was like, yes. I believe, Jane gave you coordinates. Let me know if you can't land, because I had heard that communication too. We were just hoping that the space was big enough, right? Because a couple of homes have gone into some lots up there. I re-verified the coordinates from him and he was like, we're 10 minutes out and I'll let you know. And then I took video, as did a couple of other people of them landing, and a couple of, snippets and photos of them. But Mitchell and Colin from Operation Airdrop, the most kindest, most compassionate people I've met. And they even spent a little bit of time. I mean, obviously they wanted us to get the supplies. We backed up the cars and we just, sort of filled up the supplies in the cars. And they made sure and talked with us for a little bit and made sure, like, are you okay? Does anybody have any injuries? Does anybody have any, medical needs and like that sort of thing? And just the compassion from these people. It was such a wonderful glimmer of like humanity, They were amazing. And then don't even get me started with what was in the box.
That's what I want to know. What did they drop off?
So
we honestly thought you put together a shopping list, Jane.
We thought you handpicked the box because of what was in the box. And then we found out after the fact that you had just told them about the basics. And then the rest of the box was picked by someone. Yes. Someone that knew all of us. I mean, a little package of mom's favorite cookies were in there. A whole bunch of protein things so my daughter has hypoglycemia. So she, a whole bunch of protein things that she pays attention to her diet and things like that. And she needs protein shakes, protein bars, that sort of thing. A whole bunch of that stuff was in there. Some of Drew's favorite soups were in there. Some of like a specific hair detangler for curly hair was in there. Both myself, Aubrey, Anna, and Desi, we all have really thick, really curly hair. I thought for sure you had packed it. And then when you told me that you hadn't, Jessica told me that Deirdre did. Yeah. Now, for those of you that don't know who Deirdre or Deeds is, she was one of my best friends and she passed away 3 years ago from colon cancer, unfortunately. And I knew that she had, because there is no way. It was so specific. It was weird. It was so specific. So we were thankful for that. That's another crazy little glimmer that made us, that gave us hope.
It was a great morale booster for all of us and also our neighbors too, because there's quite a few neighbors that we gave them some of the supplies as well because they needed some stuff. They needed, here's a case of water, here's some more granola bars, here's some cans of soup. So so we were able to help out, those that were living around us that also needed some stuff. Because by this time, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any of the hot meals or the supply lines had really opened up in town. It was still, you're trying to go to the store and just get what you can, but every store they could only sell some non-perishable items. That was going quick. Like I said, a lot of it was cash only. Yeah. So people also trying to get out cash was kind of difficult. And I know from our standpoint, Amanda and I, and along with, my family around here, we had pretty much spent everything just to move down here. So we had nothing really to start with. I mean, I had only been down here less than 2 weeks, so I hadn't even started doing any work yet. I was still unpacking and making sure I had everything so I could really start to hit the ground running.
Mhm. And
And we're like, oh, fuck, what are we gonna do? So
Yeah.
we went into is- rationing mode the
Mhm.
first few days, at least Amanda and I, because we kind of know what it's like. You know, if you're in New Hampshire, you're losing power for quite a few days. How do you ration it? How do you survive it? I mean, hell, just earlier this year when we got the 50 inches of snow, we were snowed into our home for 3 days. We weren't able to
Yeah.
leave. So we're like, okay,
Mhm.
we know how to do this. We know how to survive.
Mhm.
But a lot around here did not know how to kind of go into crisis mode.
The
And
panic. The
the
panic.
panic and anxiety was setting in.
There was
And
so much panic.
yeah, and it was like a lot of generals, no soldiers. There should have just been one general. But so that made it, that was also trying. But when we saw that supply get flown in, and that was the other thing, we're like, which helicopter is it? Because we're at the top of the mountain. And by this time on Tuesday, we were getting buzzed by helicopters from sun up to sundown.
Mhm.
In every 5 minutes, there'd be a helicopter, flying by, buzzing the house. Hell, I don't know how many times Blackhawks absolutely bombarded the house and shaking throughout the night. And
Yep.
so it's one of those where we're just looking up at the sky going, which helicopter
Which
is
one
it?
is it?
And then as soon as we see it starting to make the descend or like that, it was uplifting. We felt the love. Um, it was a glimmer of hope that, okay, we're going to be able to make it through this.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the next day was when the hot meals and the supply lines started to open up in town.
Yeah.
And it made it easier to get supplies, but just getting that box beforehand was so. Jane, you don't know how much we love you and what that
Oh, you
meant
don't
to
know how
us.
much I love you. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that me and Jessica were like, maybe this is a morale booster for them. I can't
Oh,
imagine how excited they were to see that helicopter and, um, maybe this will give them a little bit of, you know, put a smile on their face that I'm sure that you guys hadn't had for a few days.
Yeah, because it was quite a
And
few days of like you're having one hot dog and one bottle of water and just
yeah.
trying to make that last the day.
Mhm.
Toilets aren't
But just
working. How are we
like the
gonna go
not
through that?
knowing,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
not knowing, I can't imagine how much that was on your minds. The not knowing, okay, what is tomorrow going to bring? What is the next day going to bring? Um, you know, you guys were completely shut off from the whole world,
Yeah.
like completely. And I can't imagine if I did not have the communication. Um, and I was trying to, like Amanda, you were cute one day. You were like, yeah, Route 40 is not open because a mudslide came across the road. And I was like, and this was before you even realized exactly what was going on. And I'm like, my dear, the road is gone. It wasn't just a mudslide, they can move. I was like,
Like, it took
sweetheart,
the road.
the road is gone.
Yeah. Like, oh, I just heard mud.
I said, "Oh, isn't she cute?"
Or
But
leave it
I
to me
was
to try and
just
minimize, Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, we're okay.
Well, when we're going to the storage unit on the Saturday right after the storm, we're driving down 70 and we hit there's a roadblock and we're like, oh, we look and oh, there's a couple of sheds that are in the road. Okay. It must have that's a little bit, it's not that bad. But we weren't able to actually go and really see the destructive areas for a couple of days. And then when we got into that and saw that, we were thankful to be alive. We're
Yeah.
thankful that we didn't lose anything. Hell, the tree that fell down right outside, if it
Yeah.
just got blown the other way, it would have landed on my parents. It's that close.
Yep.
So
Yeah, 'cause
we,
Des and Marcus's trailer didn't get any damage either, except for skirting,
yeah,
if
skirting
I'm
got blown
correct.
off.
A little skirting, and I think a little bit of roof. I think honestly, I have to be honest with you with the wind gusts and the torrential downpours. I think everybody has a little bit of roof damage.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean? A little bit of
understandable.
leaking. Like even the seals on our cars. Every single one of us
Really?
actually
Yeah.
has water
Backs,
damage in our
yeah,
cars
backseat in
because
the trunk.
the
Really?
seals. Yep, the seals wouldn't hold.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
we don't have the bottom in our trunk in our car anymore because I had to take it out because it was just like so saturated or whatever, and the trunk is having a hard time closing because of water
Wow.
seepage and damage. Yeah, that's how. Just to put into perspective, that is how hard the rain and the wind was from the storm. Yeah.
Now, did I hear something about there may have been a tornado that went through the back of Marcus's in the back
Yep.
of the up there?
Yeah. And in which case, well, it hasn't been confirmed by officials. But if you look at the tree that Drew was talking about, where if it blew the other way, it would have blown on his parents. If you look at the trajectory of how the tree laid down, and then if you look up the hill in the woods, there was there was almost like a path in the woods, which would tell us that it was probably some sort of small tornado or microburst that came
Yeah,
through that
funnel
area.
cloud.
Yeah. And the what you're talking about with Marcus's house up here. So it would have come up the woods which border Marcus's house too. So
Okay.
that's what we think. That's what it looks like. Whether that's, you know.
I was honestly worried about Paige's house because she's like more below you guys.
Mm-hmm.
She's like not on a hill at all.
Yep.
She's more level to like 40, Route
Mm-hmm.
40. And
Mm-hmm.
I was very surprised to hear her house was still standing.
Yep.
Yep. They had a gigantic tree that's in their front yard that just got uprooted, but
Yep.
luckily it fell away from the house. Otherwise, it
Yep.
would have landed
Taking out the
right in the
house.
middle of
Yep.
it and taken it out.
And then
Jeez.
they lost the structure of their driveway. It washed away, and then there were some trees that were down too. But a neighbor, and it was pretty quickly and early on, and one of their neighbors had heavy equipment and actually helped remove the trees from their house, and then actually helped them lay down gravel on their driveway too, so they could get in and out of their house and not have to like hike through the woods. Yeah.
Boy, somebody was really looking over you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
Yeah.
like really.